We have here in Core Raw Assets Sprites all of the assets we've created for GigaGal. Now, we don't want to have to individually load each one of these files into our completed game. What we really want to do is pack all of these images into a big texture atlas. Then we can load that whole atlas all at once, and we don't have to load a bunch of different files. To do this, we have to delve into the mystery that is the build.gradle file. The to-dos in the course code will show you exactly how to do this. But first of all, we need to add a dependency on the GDX tools package in the build script block. That means that this code itself is dependent on GDX tools. Then we need to import texture packer. Then down in the block of the build script that applies to the core project, we're adding a new task called pack textures that first of all deletes the previous atlas and then processes our core raw asset sprites directory. Finally, we ensure that every time the compile Java task is run, the pack textures task is run first. I am sure all of this Gradle stuff is still a gigantic mystery. Don't worry about it. Check out the to-dos in the course code and it'll explain it all in excruciating detail. The upshot is that if we open up our project pane again, and we go into Android, Assets, Images, we find a big PNG with all of our assets packed together in one image. So how do we actually use the textures that we've packed into our atlas? Well, the answer is kind of complicated. First, we have to create an asset manager and have the asset manager go load up our atlas. Then we can use find region on our atlas to grab particular regions of the atlas that contain the texture we're interested in. So down here in the render callback, we've got our standing right texture region. We'll just get the texture and we'll draw it using a sprite batch. Let's see what happens. Whoops. Okay, we just wanted the standing right texture right here, but instead we got the entire atlas. To get a texture region to draw correctly, we have to use one of the more complicated versions of the draw method on sprite batch that takes into account what portion of the incoming texture we actually want to draw. Again, the annotations in the course code will do a better job of explaining this than I will here. Alright, time for you to go through the entire texture workflow, from packing all of your textures into an atlas, to loading textures back out of that atlas that you want to draw, and then drawing them correctly.